Good afternoon, children. Children, we have started our first chapter, the nationalism in Europe. And so far we have discussed about French Revolution. And you must have come to know that it was only French Revolution which gave light to other countries also to become democracy. And after that, so many countries or several countries, they started revolution to make themselves free from aristocracy or monarchy, and then they became democracy. Now let's just discuss further and we'll see. Now there is, I will see a map there, but let's just have some discussion first. If you look at the map of mid 18th century Europe, you will find that there were no nation states. Nation states means either kingdoms. They were kingdoms, they were not nation state means जहाँ पर लोगों का खुद की सरकार हो. As we know them today. What we know today as Germany, Italy, and Switzerland, they were divided into kingdoms, duchies, and cantons, whose rulers had their autonomous unlimited. Autonomous means overall territories. Eastern and Central Europe, they were under autocratic monarchy within the territories of which lived diverse peoples. Diverse means different groups. They did not see themselves as sharing a collective identity or a common culture. और सब अलग अलग कल्चर के थे, एक कॉमन आइडेंटिटी नहीं थी. Often they even spoke different languages and belonged to different ethnic groups. The Habsburg Empire that ruled over Austria-Hungary, for example, we are taking this example of Habsburg Empire, was a patchwork of many different regions and people. This empire also was not a single empire or single community empire. It was a patchwork, means different regions and peoples they were residing. It included the Alpine region, the Troil, Austria, and the Sudetenland, as well as Bohemia, where the aristocracy was predominantly German speaking. जहाँ पर पहले तो aristocracy German speaking थी, तो शुरू से ही थी. It also included the Italian speaking provinces of Lombardy and Venetia. In Hungary, half of the population spoke Magyar, while the other half spoke a variety of dialects. In Galicia, the aristocracy spoke Polish, and besides these three dominant groups, there also lived within the boundaries of the empire a mass of subject peasant people. Subject means प्रजा, peasant means जो छोटे किसान जो दूसरों से जमीन लेके खेती करते हैं. Bohemian and Slovaks to the north, and Slovenes in Carniola and Crotas to the south, and Romans to the east in Transylvania. Such differences did not easily promote a sense of political unity. अब different सब्जेक्ट ग्रुप के लोग रहते हैं तो इस तरह से पॉलिटिकल यूनिटी नहीं हो सकती. द ओनली टाई बाइंडिंग दीज डाइवर्स ग्रुप टुगेदर वॉज अ कॉमन एलिगेंस टू द एम्परर. When different communities they live together, they have their own dialects, they have their own languages, they have their own culture, and even they did not believe in unity. So how could they promote a sense of political unity? They could not. Then how did nationalism and the idea of nation state emerge? फिर ये कैसे आया? Now let's see further the aristocracy and the new middle class. Socially and politically, a landed aristocracy was the dominant class. अगर हम सोशली भी बात करें और पॉलिटिकल रूप से भी तो एरिस्टोक्रेसी कौन थे? जो कि लैंडेड ग्रुप, बड़े बड़े ज़मींदार लोग जो वहाँ पर जिनको हम स्टेट बोलते हैं, ऑन द कॉन्टिनेंट. द मेंबर्स ऑफ दिस क्लास वर यूनाइटेड बाय ए कॉमन वे ऑफ लाइफ that cut across regional divisions. They owned estate in the countryside and also townhouses. They spoke French for the purpose of diplomacy and in high society. Their families were often connected by ties of marriage. Only because of marriages they got their marriage in these different groups. That's why they tied themselves only. So this powerful aristocracy was, however, numerically a small group. लेकिन ये थोड़े से लोग थे. The majority of the population was made up of the peasantry. To the west, the bulk of land was farmed by tenants and small owners, while in Eastern and Central Europe, the pattern of landholding was characterized by vast estates which were cultivated by serfs. Serfs means vast landowners. In Western and parts of Central Europe, the growth of industrial production and trade meant the growth of town and emergence of commercial classes. अब now in Western and Central Europe, industrialization spread or industrialization increased, and that is why the there was a growth in the trade, and because of this towns, several towns they were emerged. Okay, now industrialization began in Europe, in England, in the second half of the 18th century. But in France and parts of German states, it occurred only during the 19th century. In this wake, new social groups came into being, a working class population and middle class made up of industrialists, बिजनेसमैन, प्रोफेशनल्स. अब एक नई क्लास उभर के आई जो कि वर्किंग क्लास थी, जिसमें से ही बड़े बड़े इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट बने, बिजनेसमैन बने और प्रोफेशनल्स. इन सेंट्रल एंड ईस्टर्न यूरोप दीज ग्रुप्स वर स्मॉलर इन नंबर till late 19th century, and it was among the educated liberal middle class that ideas of national unity following the abolition of aristocratic privilege gained popularity. And that's why this idea of liberalism, democracy, it emerged or it came from this rising middle class because they got education, and that is why then they came to know that this privilege, it should not be given, aristocratic privilege should not be there. Now, what did liberal nationalism stands for? Now the question arises that there were revolutionaries also, there were liberals also. So what does this word liberal nationalism means? That ideas of national unity in early 19th century Europe were closely allied to the ideology of liberalism. The term liberalism derives, किससे निकल के आया है? From the Latin root liber. It means free. Underline this line and one word answer question you will get. For the new middle classes, liberalism stood for freedom for the individual and equality for all before the law. Politically, it emphasized the concept of government by consent, कि एक दूसरे के विचार करके गवर्नमेंट बनाए. Since the French Revolution, liberalism had stood for the end of एरिस्टोक्रेसी. फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन में लिबरलिज्म का मतलब क्या था? एरिस्टोक्रेसी का एंड होना, एंड क्लरिकल प्रिविलेज मिले हुए थे वो ख़त्म, एंड अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एंड रिप्रेजेंटेटिव गवर्नमेंट थ्रू पार्लियामेंट. कैसे बने? द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एंड रिप्रेजेंटेटिव गवर्नमेंट थ्रू पार्लियामेंट. 19th century liberal also stressed the inviolability of private property. अब 19th सेंचुरी में लिबरल्स ने भी स्ट्रेस किया कि भाई प्राइवेट प्रॉपर्टी कोई भी रख सकता है. येट इक्वलिटी बिफोर द लॉ डिड नॉट नेसेसरली स्टैंड फॉर यूनिवर्सल सफरेज, बट इक्वलिटी दे ऑल्सो डिड नॉट बिलीव दैट सफरेज शुड बी देयर और यूनिवर्सल एडल्ट फ्रेंचाइज शुड बी देयर. You will recall that in revolutionary France, which marked the first political experiment in liberal democracy, the right to vote and to get elected was granted exclusively to property owners. हालांकि फ्रांस में डेमोक्रेसी के लिए रेवोल्यूशन हुआ, लेकिन वहाँ पर भी सिर्फ किसको राइट टू वोट और कॉन्टेस्टेंट बनने का अधिकार था, जिनके पास प्रॉपर्टी थी. Men without property and all women were excluded from political rights. Only for a brief period under the Jacobin did all adult males enjoy suffrage. However, the Napoleonic Code went back to limited suffrage and reduced women to the status of minor, subject to the authority of fathers and husbands. Throughout the 19th and 20th century, women and non-propertized men organized opposition movement demanding equal political rights. Okay, I think things are clear to you. So in the economic sphere, liberalism stood for the freedom of market and the abolition of state imposed restrictions on the movement of goods and capital. अब अगर इकोनॉमिक फ्रंट की बात करते हैं तो लिबरलिज्म का मतलब है कि मार्केट फ्री है बिल्कुल, और जो स्टेट मीन्स राजा का जो इम्पोज लगी, उसने जो रिस्ट्रिक्शंस कर रखी थी वो सब हट जाएं. ड्यूरिंग द 19th century this was a strong demand of the emerging middle classes. Let us take the example of the German speaking regions of first half of the 19th century. Napoleon's administrative measures had created out of countless small principalities a confederation of 39 states. Each of these possessed its own currency. अब 39 states means 39 areas means countries, सबकी अपनी करेंसी अलग, and weights and measures. And merchant traveling in 1833 from Habsburg to Nuremberg, ये एक एग्जाम्पल दिया है, to sell his goods would have had to pass through 11 custom barriers and pay a custom duty of about 5% at each one of them. Now you see, if a man is to just trade from one country to another and he is to pass 11 custom barriers and everywhere he is to give 5% of each, now you see how much he could earn. He could not earn. Now, duchies were often levied according to the weights or measurement of the goods. As each region had its own system of weights and measures, this involved time consuming calculation also, and the measure of cloth, for example, was the LA, which in each region stood for a different length. वहाँ पर एक मीटर को LA बोला जाता है और सबका उसकी जो लेंथ थी वो सबकी अलग अलग. An LA of textile material bought in Frankfurt would get you 54.7 centimeter of cloth. In men's 55.1 centimeter, in Nuremberg 65.6 centimeter, and in Freiburg 53.5 centimeter. And such conditions were viewed as obstacles. अब ये तो बहुत बड़ी बड़ी obstacles हैं to economic exchange and growth by the new commercial classes who argued for the creation of unified economic territory, allowing the unhindered movement of goods, people and capital. So in 1834, a custom union or Joralvian was formed at the initiative of Persia and joined by most of the German states. The union abolished tariff barrier and reduced the number of currencies from over 30 to 2. दो तरह की करेंसी बन गई. And the creation of a network of railways further stimulated मोबिलिटी और अच्छा कर दिया, आने जाने का रेलवेज की वजह से हो गया. हार्नेसिंग इकोनॉमिक इंटरेस्ट टू नेशनल यूनिफिकेशन. सो ए वेव ऑफ इकोनॉमिक नेशनलिज्म strengthened the wider nationalist sentiments growing at the time. Now, a new conservatism after 1815. You know that in 1814, 15 Napoleon Bonaparte, he was defeated, and after that European government were driven by a spirit of conservatism. Conservatives believed that established traditional institutions of state and society like the monarchy, the church, social hierarchies, property and the family should be preserved. Conservatives, they did not believe random change, they believe in slow change. So most conservatives, however, did not propose a return to the society of pre-revolutionary days. Rather, they realized that from the changes initiated by Napoleon, that modernization could in fact strengthen traditional institutions like the monarchy. So it could make state power more effective and strong. A modern army and efficient bureaucracy, a dynamic economy, the abolition of feudalism and serfdom could strengthen the aristocratic monarchy of Europe. Now, in 1815, representatives of the European powers like Britain, Russia, Persia, and Austria, who had collectively defeated Napoleon, met at Vienna to draw up a settlement from Europe. And the Congress was hosted by the Austrian Chancellor Duke Metternich. The delegates में जो वहाँ पर representative गए थे, the delegates drew up the Treaty of Vienna of 1815 with the object of undoing most of the changes that had come about in Europe. अब जो ट्रीटी ऑफ वियना हुई उसमें बहुत सारा, उसमें एक ही ऑब्जेक्ट लिया गया था कि अनडूइंग जो भी चेंजेस हो रहे हैं, जो भी चेंजेस हैं यूरोप में हुए, उनको हमें क्या करना है, ड्यूरिंग दी नेपोलियनिक वार के टाइम जो भी हुए थे उनको हमें हटाना है, ख़त्म करना है. द बोर्बोन डायनेसिटी विच हैड बीन डिपोज्ड ड्यूरिंग द फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन वॉज रिस्टोर्ड. अब जो बोर्बोन फैमिली फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन के टाइम पे क्या कर दिया गया था, उसको डिपोर्ट कर दिया गया था, राजा ने अपनी क्या छोड़ दी थी, सारी पावर. अब उसको दोबारा से रिस्टोर्ड करना है टू पावर में. एंड फ्रांस लॉस द टेरिटरीज इट हैड एनेक्स्ड अंडर, और वो सारी लेनी है, रिस्टोर करना है जो फ्रांस ने अपनी सारी टेरिटरीज नेपोलियन के अंडर में रह के ख़त्म कर दी थी, एनेक्स हो गई थी. अ सीरीज ऑफ स्टेट्स वर सेट अप ऑन द बाउंड्रीज ऑफ फ्रांस to prevent French expansion in future. Thus, the Kingdom of Netherlands, which included Belgium, was set up in the north, and Genoa was added to Piedmont in the south. Prussia was given important new territories on its western frontier, while Austria was given control of northern Italy. But the German confederation of 39 states that had been set up by Napoleon was left untouched. लेकिन जो 39 स्टेट जहाँ पर नेपोलियन ने सारा स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन कर दिया था उसको कुछ नहीं टच किया गया. इन द ईस्ट रशिया वॉज गिवन पार्ट ऑफ पोलैंड, वाइल पर्सिया वॉज गिवन अ पोर्शन ऑफ सैक्सोनी. द मेन इंटेंशन, अब इसके पीछे क्या इंटेंशन था, वॉज टू रिस्टोर द मोनार्की दैट हैड बीन ओवरथ्रोन बाय नेपोलियन and create a new conservative order in Europe. You know students, in 9th class also we learnt, we just discussed that when Napoleon became the emperor of France, he just abolished all the previous things. He introduced several new things and measurements, several new things were made, even nation state was created, and new weights were introduced, and just simple one language was introduced, dialects were abolished, and several new things were introduced. But after the defeat of Napoleon, again the same thing were restored which were before French Revolution. Now conservative regimes set up in 1815 were aristocratic, and they did not tolerate criticism and dissent, and sought to curb activities that questioned the legitimacy of aristocratic government. अब जब कंजर्वेटिव्स का दोबारा से आया तो उन्होंने वही जो लोग उनको क्रिटिसाइज़ कर रहे थे उनको उन्होंने कोशिश की, अब तरीके ढूंढे कि इनको इन ऐसी एक्टिविटीज़ को कर्ब किया जाए जो कि क्वेश्चन उनकी लेजिटिमेसी पर क्वेश्चन मार्क लगा रहे हैं एरिस्टोक्रेटिक गवर्नमेंट की. सो मोस्ट ऑफ देम इम्पोज्ड सेंसरशिप, दोबारा से सेंसरशिप लगा दी, लॉज टू कंट्रोल व्हाट वाज सेड इन न्यूज़पेपर, बुक्स, प्लेज एंड सॉन्ग्स, एंड रिफ्लेक्टेड द आइडियाज़ ऑफ लिबर्टी एंड फ्रीडम, उन सब पर ये लगा दी. Okay, now you just look, see here, this is a club of thinkers, anonymous caricatures. It's dating to almost 1820, and people they are sitting over here, but they just their mouths they are shut. The plague on the left bears the inscription, the most important question of today's meeting: how long will thinking be allowed to us? And the board on the right lists the rules of the club, which include the following. The things are there here written here. Now silence is the first commandment of this learned society, means no one will speak without until they will be asked to speak. To avoid the eventuality whereby a member of this club may succumb to the temptation of speech, muzzles will be distributed to members upon entering. This, if they are coming, they are to deliver a speech, or they are to be just there with quizzes or something like that. It's a just portrait, or it's a picture created by someone, don't know who created, and the things are here. Now let's see, this associated with the French Revolution, the memory of the French Revolution nonetheless continued to inspire liberals. One of the major issues taken by the liberal nationalists who criticized the new conservative order was freedom of press. Now this is all today. Thank you.